Okay, hello everybody and welcome to this Verbling class. My name is Teacher Amy and today's class is part of my Around the World in 80 Days series where we travel virtually around the world looking at different countries and places with something interesting to learn about. Then we read an article about this place to practice our reading and pronunciation, hopefully learning some new words, improving our English accents and pronunciation, and having a bit of fun as well as learning something interesting about these places. So do come along today. We have an article on a special place called Matera in Italy. And that's our topic for today. So before we get started on that, let me tell you a few things which can be useful for you as you take your time to do some English learning here on Verbling. The first one is my Facebook page. That's my Verbling teacher Facebook page, which you can access via the link there in the chat box. It's a typical thing. You guys all know what Facebook is about, so it's a great way of keeping in touch with the theme of Verbling and English. So do check that one out if you'd like to. The other one, which can give you a bit more sort of concrete information about all the stuff you may need to find out about teachers and classes, is my Verbling teacher page. So go ahead there to find out more about me. You can take a look at my calendar to see when I'm free for classes, also for private tutoring sessions. If you click on the blue follow button, then you can automatically receive notifications of when I'm teaching. And this is the same for all teachers, so it can be a good place to go and check out if you have some time. So do have a look at those links there in the chat box. As I mentioned, today this class is Around the World in 80 Days speaking and reading practice, and our country today is Italy, which is a place I've always wanted to go, and hopefully one day we'll get to. So let's say hi to our students and see who we've got here today to talk and read with us. So Raphael, how are you doing?
Hi Amy, I'm fine.
How are
Thank
you?
you. And you?
I'm
Fine.
I'm well, thank you, Raphael. Yes, as you may notice, I'm in a different location today because I had an unusual experience. A digger has dug through some land at the top of the drive where I live and cut through the internet cable.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that was a great thing to find out yesterday afternoon, and so I'm in a temporary location, which is why you can see these wonderful filing cabinets behind me. Anyway, apart from that, Raphael, I'm fine.
These things happen.
Yeah, they do. So yeah, it's good to see you. Who else do we have here? Asma, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Asma. How's your studying going?
How?
How is your studying going? Is your English studying going okay?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think with verbing it will be better. I will be
Excellent.
better. I will improve my English.
You're making progress.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
That's great to know. I'm glad that Verbling is helping you. So today, guys, our topic is Italy for reading. Have either of you been to Italy before?
Well, I've never been.
No.
Nope. Well, me neither. So it's a new country for all of us. But I've always been really interested in it. I think it's got to be one of the most interesting European countries just because of all the history and the amazing people who have come out of Italian culture who've like impacted the whole world with their art and stuff. So as per usual, what I'm going to do is get a little bit of a clip from Wikipedia that we can find out about the country before we start reading. So I'm going to paste that into the chat box now, and I'm going to get Raphael to read this for us, please. Can you see it there?
Italy, officially the Italian Republic, is a unitary parliamentary republic in southern Europe. To the north, Italy borders France, Switzerland, Austria, and Slovenia, and is approximately delimited by the Alpine watershed, enclosing to the Po Valley and the Venetian Plain. To the south, it consists of the entirety of the Italian peninsula and the two biggest Mediterranean islands of Sicily and Sardinia. Italy's capital and largest city, Rome, has for centuries been the leading political and religious center of Western civilization, serving as the capital of both the Roman Empire and Christianity. During the Dark Ages, Italy endured cultural and social decline in the face of repeated invasions by Germanic tribes, with Greek-Roman heritage being preserved largely by Christian monks. Beginning around the 11th century, various Italian cities, communes, and maritime republics rose to great prosperity through shipping, commerce, and banking. Indeed, modern capitalism had its roots in medieval Italy. Concurrently, Italian culture flourished, especially during the Renaissance, which produced many notable scholars, artists, and polymaths such as Leonardo da Vinci, Galileo, Michelangelo, and Machiavelli.
Thank you, Raphael. Great reading. Okay, so you had a couple of tricky bits in there. Let me just talk about a couple of things. So that one there is Dark Ages rather than ages.
Dark Ages.
Yeah. And then we've got communes.
Communes.
Maritime.
Maritime.
And lastly, medieval.
Medieval.
Yes, well done. Beautiful expression when you read though, Raphael. It's a pleasure listening to you. With just a few little tricky words in there. But thank you. All right, are there any questions about any of the vocab? It's generally just a little bit of an introduction to what Italy is, where it is, and I guess some of the important people that have come out of it.
What is
All
commune?
Right.
Is it related to communism?
No, a commune actually is like an area where people live in sort of a community. So it's for different reasons, like it's sort of communal living, like where a large group of people share a lot of resources and share their living space together. So sometimes it happens, like Raphael, with certain religious cults or something. People of one religion live in an area together and sort of have their life separate from other people. But it's used in different contexts, yeah. I suppose it is related to communism in that way because everything is shared, sort of. So, good point. I'll just say hello to Devrim. Hello, Devrim.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Welcome to the class. We've just read a short introduction because our topic today is Italy. Where are you from, Devrim?
I'm from Turkey. I live in Istanbul.
Wow, I really would love to go to Istanbul. It's another amazing place in Europe I want to go to. Have you ever been to Italy?
No, I haven't.
All right, well, join us. Neither of any of us, so we're all learning together today.
Okay, maybe.
Hopefully. All right, so guys, we're going to read the actual article now. So I'm going to paste the link there for you in the chat box and do a screen share so that we can read together, which I like to do. So there are a few Italian words in here, which I'm useless at pronouncing, so I'm not going to worry if you pronounce those wrong. I wouldn't know anyway. But there's also lots of great English words. So have a look here. You've got a quite amazing picture of this place, Matera, where we're going to read about. And we have the title here. I'm going to get Asma to start with the title for us. Can you read it out for us, please?
Yeah. A new dawn for the Mezzogiorno.
Oh, that sounds like a very nice Italian accent from my limited perspective. All right,
Yeah,
so...
because it's near Tunisia, 1 hour with the plane. Maybe that's why.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Um, you've inherited the accent from across the sea.
Yeah, hopeful.
All right, thank you, Asma. Can someone tell me, what does a new dawn mean, metaphorically?
A new beginning.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to find out what that's all talking about. We'll scroll down here. Don't forget to have a look at the pictures when you have a bit of a spare moment, because they're really stunning. But we're going to carry on reading. Asma, could you continue for us, please, with if in the 1950s?
Okay, in the 1950s, Matera, a town carved from the earth in the southern Italian region of Basilicata, was declared la Vergogna Nazionale, the shame of Italy. At the time, some of 16,000 residents lived in Matera Sassi districts, distinguished, distinguished,
Distinguished. Distinguished.
distinguished.
Mhm.
Their ancient rock-cut dwelling, some of which were accessible only by a trapdoor and ladder. Whole families shared the cramped, unlit spaces with sheep, pigs, and goats. Starvation was rampant. Declared unsafe and unsanitary, the Sassi were evacuated in 1952.
Thank you, Asma. Great reading. You did have a couple of Italian words and some tricky English ones. But you read that really well. Just a note, don't forget when the comes before a word with a vowel, we pronounce it the. So the earth.
The earth.
That's better. Yep. And here, this word here was tricky, hey? It's distinguished.
Distinguished.
Perfect. Well done. Okay, apart from that, it was beautiful. So, are there any questions about vocab? I just wanted to point out this, some 16,000. What does that mean? Does anybody know?
People live in there.
Absolutely. Yep. They're the residents, so they're the people who lived there. But what does this sum do to the number 16,000? Can anyone give me like a synonym or another way of saying some 16,000?
Approximately. Oh, sorry.
It's a difficult one, I know. Some is much easier to say, isn't it? Approximately.
Approximately.
Very good.
Approximately. Yes.
Well done.
I think some approximately.
Absolutely. That's a great synonym. And Raphael has also given you a much easier one to pronounce, Devram. Around.
Around, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe would be
But
easy.
yeah, slightly easier. But approximately is also the same meaning. So well done. Any other questions? No?
Yes, I have.
Go ahead, Devram.
Sorry, I erupted. Racket dwellings. Dwellings.
This one here. Okay, what's
What
first of all?
mean
Good question. What's a dwelling?
dwelling?
Anyone know?
I don't know.
Raphael, can you tell us what a dwelling is?
Traditional
It's
house.
exactly what I'm going to ask you.
Ah, okay. How about Asma? Do you know?
I don't know, but maybe tradition house, no?
Yep, absolutely. A dwelling is simply a house. It's actually a word that we use still now you'll find it on like official papers and stuff, because the word house in English implies like a specific type of building with like upstairs, downstairs, that type of thing. A dwelling is like a word that we use to cover any living area, so it could be an apartment, a house, a cave, I don't know, any type of place where people live. And a rock-cut dwelling is literally a dwelling or a place where people live, cut out of the rock, dug out of the rock. So if you have a look at the picture, you can get the idea a little bit, that these houses are all basically cut out of rock, which is kind of amazing. And we're going to find out a bit more about them as we read on. So any other questions?
A room
No?
house. Room house. Something. Rock cut dwelling.
Yes.
Ancient house, I think.
Yes, because it tells us that they're ancient. However, they're not necessarily ancient. A dwelling doesn't have to be ancient. It could be modern.
Okay.
But these particular ones are. You're right.
Rampant.
Rampant. Okay, let's do rampant first. Does anyone know what rampant means? No? Basically, it sort of means something is out of control everywhere. So starvation was everywhere. Starvation was a real big problem, basically. And what, sorry, Asma?
Spree?
Spree, yeah, a spree is not a bad way of putting it, exactly. But rampant sort of has a bit of a negative implication. So you'd say like, maybe the children are running rampant. It means they're totally wild and out of control. Or maybe a disease is rampant. That means that it's everywhere. Lots of people are catching it. So not particularly pleasant, that one. All right, Asma, did you have another question?
Evacuated, maybe.
Evacuate. Okay, does anyone know what to be evacuated is?
Removed.
Exactly. And for what reason, Raphael?
Due to all these problems, starvation,
Yes.
and the bad conditions, bad living conditions.
Absolutely. So if you're evacuated, basically it means that you have to leave an area, leave a place, because there's some kind of disaster or problem. So if, like, for example, there's an earthquake warning or a volcano eruption or a plague or, I don't know, there's lots of reasons, a flood, then people may have to be evacuated, which means they have to leave their houses in order that they don't die or get sick or something. So that's what it means. Sassy here is a word that's used to describe these. You can see here it's in italics. It's introducing the word to us because it's not an English word. But it explains it here. The Sassy are districts or areas in this city, which are basically made up of these rock houses, cave houses. So that's the name that we're going to use throughout the piece to talk about them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well done, everybody. Let's continue reading. And it must be Devrim, your turn for this paragraph, please. You still there, Devrim? Don't forget to unmute.
Yes, in Turkey, that times is Ramadan, so
Yes.
the drums is loud, and I'm waiting for a while. That's gone.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you, Devrim. That's all right. We don't mind hearing a bit of drumming.
Yes. For years, few locals and even fewer tourists wanted to visit the Sasi, but in the 1960s and 1970s, hippies moved into the derelict caves and began to lobby for restoration. In the 1980s, the government passed laws preserving the Sasi. UNESCO dubbed the area a World Heritage Site in 1993, and in 2003, Mel Gibson filmed The Passion of the Christ here. Today, the Sassy views with BB's, boutiques and restaurants in the same rock-cut homes that were once symbols of shame and misery.
Thank you, Devra. Really great reading. You had a lot of numbers to practice in there, didn't you? You did really well, though. You got all of them right. Just try this one more time. This is actually the 1980s, not the 1980s.
1980s, yes.
Perfect.
Of course.
That's all right. And this one here is buzz.
Buzz.
Yep. All right. So any questions about vocab here, guys? Do we understand what this is talking about?
World Heritage, I guess.
World Heritage. What's a World Heritage Site?
An ancient or site.
Yes.
I think that there are many heritage sites in the world, like in America, in Brazil, in UNESCO decided that that one area can be a heritage site, world heritage site, like I don't know, monument, like this.
Yes, that's absolutely correct, Asma. Something like of value, of like a special cultural or historical value that UNESCO decides, okay, this is very important, this is very unique, so it needs to be protected for the world to, people to come and visit and us to appreciate the fact that there's something special. So yes, you're right, there's lots and lots of them, lots of countries. I'm sure there's plenty of them in Turkey, actually. Devrim. Any other questions?
Okay, we have also World Heritage Site, I guess.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure you must have. I think Turkey has a lot of them, Devrim. I've never been to Turkey, but it's another place I'd love to go to see all your fascinating history and culture.
Yes.
Somebody called Juliet has just told me that sassy means rocks. Thank you, Juliet. She's told us in the chat box. She maybe is Italian or knows Italian. All right, any other questions? No?
What's mean the buzz?
To buzz. Anyone want to have a go at explaining that?
Many times I hear this word buzz, but I don't know.
Okay, so there's sort of the traditional meaning of buzz is the noise that a bee makes as it flies around, right? Bzzz, that's a buzz. But in this case, it means basically when there's lots of activity or lots of noise or lots going on. If something is buzzing, it means lots is happening, lots of people, lots of activity. that type of thing.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so they've undergone a big change. Let's keep reading. Raphael, your turn from here, please.
Matera is unlike anywhere else. Virtually no other settlement in the world has been occupied continuously for 9,000 years. And the city's more than 150 Western churches and Neolithic caves are artistic and archaeological gems. Even so, the challenges faced by Matera have been shared by other cities across the Italian south. Perhaps its success in tourism could be too.
Can you keep reading, please?
In Italy, Mezzogiorno means midday. It also refers to the region that sprawls across southern Italy, as well as the islands of Sicily and Sardinia. The name came about because the sun here shines so brightly at noon. But for the past few centuries, metaphorical rays of sunshine have been few. From the Middle Ages up until the unification of Italy in the 1860s, the area's economy was based on feudal agriculture. Even though the wild, rocky, rocky Apennines make much of the land too difficult to cultivate, things got even worse after the unification, when heavy-handed taxation and a lack of land reform combined with a surge in corruption and organized crime to leave the region far behind.
Excellent. Beautiful reading. Thank you, Raphael. This island, I don't know how it's pronounced in Italian, but in English you pronounce it Sicily.
Sicily.
Yeah. And this one here is agriculture.
Agriculture.
All right, excellent. So we found out a little bit more about the place. Any questions or parts that we don't understand? No? Everyone clear? Okay, does anyone feel like they could give me a little bit of a sum up? What a summary or a brief explanation. What are we reading about and what have we so far learnt? Nobody? How about you, Devram? What have we learnt so far from this piece of writing? Doesn't have to be detailed, just a few basic things.
In article,
Yes. What are we actually reading about?
whole article.
Nope, just the sections that we've read so far, like the first few paragraphs.
Sorry, I can't. I am trying to understand this paragraph. Some
Okay.
some words. There's there are some words I don't know.
That's absolutely fine. Do ask a question if you need to, Devram, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, while you're having a look, Devram, let's see if Asma can tell us. Asma, can you give me, say, 2 or 3 points? Just summarizing what we've already read.
Mm-hmm. Uh, um, I think that they explained that this area, Materia, has been occupied continuously for 9,000 years, and is it's okay.
What kind of place is it?
Okay,
Yeah?
in the Italian south, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what is unique about it?
The text tell us that this area can succeed in tourism,
Hmm.
but also there are explain also that there are many reasons that people evacuated in the past. I think
Absolutely. Hmm.
because corruption, um, tax, taxation, I think.
Yep.
Also, um, things got even worse after and things got even worse after unification, means unification Italy, I think.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, when heavy-handed taxation and a lack of land reform, and we know that the economy for this area based based on land, like this,
Hmm.
on land.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's very difficult. No reform, a surge in corporation and crime, and this reason are combined and contribute to to what's this, to encourage people to leave this region.
Beautiful. Thank you, Asma. Well done. That's a great summary. Sometimes this is a good thing to do, guys. If you're reading something, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's happened to me where you kind of think you understand it. Um, but when you try and do a summary, it's like a really good way of testing your understanding. Are you able to sort of say to somebody else what you've read in your own words? It can really help you use some new vocabulary, test out your use of synonyms and see how many words you can use to explain something. So it's quite a good thing to do, even if you're by yourself reading, just pause and think, okay, let's see if I can explain this to somebody. And you easily can see which parts you don't understand, which can also be helpful. But Asma, that was beautiful. Well done. How are you going, Devram? Are you following okay?
Yes.
Great, that's great. Just let me know if you have any questions. There's a beautiful picture of the medieval fortress that looks pretty magnificent to me. And we're going to carry on reading. So because Asma's just given us a great summary, could you read for us, please, Devram, from Despite?
Despite it, Italy's continued popularity as a tourist destination, the country is currently ranked with fifth in the world, with 49 point uh, 47.7 million international visitors arriving in 2012. The country's southern part takes only a small slice of that pie. In 2013, for example, revenues from tourism in Mezzogiorno added up to less than half of what was guaranteed by Italy's central of northern regions. Yet, as international travel booms, tourists are starting to look further than Rome, Venice, and Florence. They want to see something different, something new, said Andrea Barsotti, owner of boutique tour operator Kiss from Italy. After all, the region's offerings are vast and varied. Ancient Greek temples and medieval Norman castles, rolling vineyards and white sand beaches, fresh produce and underrated wines. It just doesn't have the uh, name rec- 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 recog- mm, recognition of its northern neighbors yet.
Thank you, Deborah. Well done. Really lovely pronunciation. Well done. So let's just have a look at two words. This one here, I know it looks like vineyards, but we actually pronounce it vineyards for some reason.
Yes, vineyards.
Crazy English, hey? Okay, and this one here you eventually got right. Well done. It's recognition.
Recognition, yes. I
Well done.
remembered.
Excellent. You've had a couple of difficult ones today, haven't you, Deborah? Recognition, distinguished, approximately. You have to go away and practice those today.
My
Oh,
my tongue isn't work
your
this
tongue
evening.
isn't working. I know the feeling. All right. Um, this is an interesting point because obviously Italy is really famous for certain places, right? Rome, Venice, Florence are the real typical Italian places to go to. But it mentions that this is maybe an up and coming place, somewhere new, somewhere a bit different. I want to ask Raphael. Raphael, when you go to somewhere new, do you like going to the major attractions of the place, or do you prefer to explore by yourself and maybe find somewhere a bit different?
Well, I like to explore. It's relative. If I like to explore new things, visit new places. If I like this place, if I like this place and I find it interesting to visit, I choose for visit there. But
Mm-hmm.
if this place I visit have some other has other interesting places to visit, but less known that the most famous, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's interesting to visit, to know new things.
Have you traveled overseas to other countries, Raphael?
No, not yet. Just in my country.
But Brazil is a big and very, well, it appears to me to be very diverse. Do you think it is?
Yes, it's huge.
So have you traveled quite a lot around your own country, or I'm terrible for that. I haven't really been to many places in my own country. I don't know why. I spend too much time in other countries. But tell me, what's your favorite place in Brazil?
Well, there are lots of places. There are a lot of interesting places in the northeastern regions of Brazil, uh, like other states. Maceió, it's an interesting state to visit. Alagoas and Fortaleza, it's another city. It's a beautiful city to visit. Uh, a nice beaches, and there are, there is also a famous constructions there, churches, beautiful churches, and it has a interesting ancient history also. So
Hmm.
it has a lot of places to visit. It's hard to say just one of them.
Absolutely. And those places you've just mentioned, I mean, I haven't heard of them, but then again, I'm not particularly hot on geography. Are they popular with overseas tourists, or are they mostly unknown?
No, they are not totally unknown. They are becoming well known, mainly this year due to some obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Uh, and they are really well known nowadays. They're becoming famous. Uh, so because the the most common destinies in Brazil was until I don't know 20 or 10 years ago
Mhm.
was Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo, the biggest, the spotlights of the country. But this has changed because people uh, are more aware about the beauties in Brazil, and they're and also due to the development of communications and spreading the information about these countries and how can I say show the beauties of Brazil to the world. So,
Absolutely.
uh,
You can maybe use the word showcase there, Raphael.
yes.
Don't forget it's destinations. Destinies is like fate, yeah? It's something different.
Okay, yes, destination, of course.
All right. Let's ask Devrim, because you're from Turkey, another amazingly sort of diverse country with a lot of history. What's your favorite place in your country, Devrim? Have you traveled a lot around Turkey or not much?
Yes, I have traveled. Lost. I have traveled too much.
Too much.
I yes, I have. We have mm, lots of famous places in Turkey. We have some ancient area and um, Istanbul is a old was a old city
Mhm.
and some cities oldest from here uh, in age um, in Mediterranean and Asian areas.
Yeah.
I love Asian areas.
Mhm.
I traveled uh, uh, especially I travel especially summertime
Yeah.
for holidays in these areas and I have summer house in Asian areas.
Mhm.
Uh, I love there. I love here.
What's
Uh,
special about it, Devrim? What's special that you like about it?
mm, some ancient areas uh, I like Efes, Olympus uh, in the south.
Mhm.
Uh, we call Olympus. Phasalis, some ancient stadium, theater, uh, and uh, in Istanbul, um, um, a lot of church. We
Mhm.
have a lot of church
Mhm.
uh, and mosque
Mhm.
mosques.
Mhm.
Uh, I love to all of.
Yeah. I just think
I
it's the history is sometimes sort of magical in a way. I don't know whether you feel that about those special places, Devon, but it's kind of amazing to stand somewhere and know that like thousands of years ago people were standing there. And how long
yes,
things have gone on, you know, and some things have changed a lot, and other things, like some buildings, are still there, and it's sort of amazing to think about that.
yes, a lot of new buildings uh, 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 we have a lot of new buildings.
Mm-hmm.
We co um, we built we are building uh, a new structure in
Yeah.
ancient areas
Mm-hmm.
on the ancient areas.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'm worried about that because um, culture mm, disappearing some um, bad polit political situations.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can understand. Yeah, that's when you've got such important history in your country, um, I think it's difficult, isn't it, to sort of like have that connection between modern development and protecting ancient, precious
Yes.
locations as well. Let's ask Asma about Tunisia. Asma, tell us, do you have any World Heritage sites in Tunisia? What's your favorite part of your country?
Uh, yeah, Sidi Boussaid, for me, it's an amazing area in Tunisia.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it yeah, it's known to be a worldwide heritage of the UNESCO.
Uh-huh.
It's situated on the Gulf of Tunis, the
Yeah.
capital of Tunisia, the state Tunisia. Uh, and I think Sidi Bouzid attract tourists and also the residents due to our architecture, like this we
Uh-huh.
say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because white and the blue. Yeah, and yeah, I think and you can have a view, a nice view.
What do you mean by white and blue, Asma?
The door and the window,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, all the area white and blue. The door
Wow.
and yeah, the window blue and the rest of the wall and are in white.
That
The
sounds very
mm,
distinctive.
yeah, yeah, it's very distinctive, and also
Distinctive.
the emplacement is
And the
emplacement, yeah, because on the Gulf of Tunisia, situated on the Gulf of Tunis.
okay, so it's mostly famous because of the architecture. Is that your favorite place to go?
Yeah, I want to also to go to another area
Hmm.
um, where there are many curves, like crave,
Caves?
yeah, in the earth, in
Oh,
the
wow.
ground,
All right, so
yeah.
that's similar to what we've been reading about today, perhaps.
Yeah. It's very, very similar. Yeah, I want to visit it, but yeah, yeah. I think it's a good experience. Yeah,
Absolutely. Um, I actually saw an exhibition
and
about cave.
we have also the desert, and we have greenery places. So it's very good beaches and greenery there. Uh, Yeah, it's very nice. I visited Tunisia. It's similar. There are many. It share many places like Turkey.
Yeah, I'm sure similar sort of things, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's fascinating finding out about all these different countries. Asma, I'll get you to read another paragraph. So we've still got a little bit more time. Can you read from Antonello, please?
Okay. Antonello Loisito, the owner of tourism company Southern Vision Travel, agreed. 5 years ago, he said, few people had heard of Puglia, the region in the heart of Italy, both, despite its many draws, including 800 kilometers of coastline, more than any other region on Italy's mainland, and 60 million olive trees, making it Italy's largest producer of olive oil. But then their second time or third time into the country, they are asking, what seventh time does more context than Tuscany or the Veneto business?
Absolutely. Thank you. Devram, I will get you to read this paragraph here, please. We'll just go straight on.
Yes. Naples is also benefiting from the change. The city offers far more than proximity to Pompeii or the Amalfi Coast. Attractions include what may be the finest archaeological museum in Italy, if not all Europe. 3 medieval castles, jaw-droppingly delicious pizza and pastries, catacombs far creepier than those in Rome, views of sparkling blue sea and striking Mount Vesuvius,
Yeah.
and an art museum where the collection of works by greats such as Raphael, Michelangelo, Botticelli, and Caravaggio are unrivaled by any but Florence's Uffizi. Even so, for years, travels associated Naples mostly with the tales of organized crime and garbage strikes that they read about in the international media. If they passed through at all, it was en route elsewhere, clutching their wallets tightly.
Thank you. Great reading, Devra. Okay, so this one here is media. Media.
Media, yes.
Well done. All of you are doing extremely well because this isn't an easy piece to read. All right, any questions about this second part? We haven't actually finished, but there's another page, and if you do want to continue reading this, do feel free to do that on your own. And if you have any questions about it, write me a message and I'll get back to you, or post me a message onto Facebook. But are we understanding everything in these last two paragraphs, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Yeah.
Jaw-droppingly. What's mean?
Jaw-droppingly. Do you know what jaw-droppingly means, Raphael?
No.
No? Do you guys know what a jaw is? A part of your body is your jaw. No?
Part of you? Part of me?
Yes, it's part of your body, Devram. It's actually your mouth. It's the bone that opens and closes your mouth, your jaw. And if your jaw drops, it's like when you're going, oh my goodness, something's amazing, then your mouth will open or your jaw will drop. So jaw-droppingly is quite a nice way of saying sort of amazingly or surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any other questions?
That means surprisingly.
Yeah, surprising. Or
Amazing. Okay. That's mean. Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, if there's no more questions about that part, do go ahead, finish the reading, guys. And let me know if you have any questions. Well done for some superb reading, and thank you for telling us about the interesting places in your countries today.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, take care, and I hopefully we'll see you guys soon. See you later.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.